Hey everyone, I'm Michelle Terpstra. I'm a Chief Revenue Officer, a sales maven, and I love digital marketing for client acquisition. This is our 2024 Business Roundtable. I just came off working with a very large client over the last year, and we were able to achieve number 1686 on the Inc. 5000 in 2024. As the Chief Revenue Officer of that organization, you can imagine how elated I was when those results came out. If you've ever tried to apply for Inc. 5000, it is like nothing short of a blood sample in order to submit your financials and to be recognized. I'm really proud of that. What inspired me to have this roundtable today was to talk about what's actually working in 2024, because there is so many doomsdayers out there right now with inflation, US elections, just buyer behavior changing, and you can't control those things. I hate to break it to you, right? So what you can control, you should control. And so how can you make the appropriate pivots, tweaks, enhancements, changes to your business so that you don't have to be a doomsdayer? You can do things like hit Inc. 5000. But that's what we're going to talk about today. And I don't want to be the only one talking because that's no fun. I invited some clients and guests, trusted experts, to share their best practices of what is working in 2024 and what will work beyond 2024. We are in a cycle that my estimate will be 3 years. 9 out of 10 times, I'm pretty darn right. So it's a 3-year cycle that started in the beginning of this year on what will sell and how you can sell successfully, both online and in person. And so I'm going to save some incredible survey results from my friend Veronica for the end. First, I'm going to invite my guests to speak. You want to watch all the way through because I'm going to reveal secrets of what I anticipate being the next 3 years of selling cycles and selling processes, the best ways that you can get out there and sell as much as possible without burning out. It's really hard to keep it all up. And I know we have a lot of solopreneurs who are going to be listening to this. You can probably feel that in your soul right now. Let's go ahead and kick off. I am picking the people who have to go at a certain time so they can do things like pick up their kids from school because it's Friday. And here in Park City, I'm in Park City, Utah, which is, if anybody's ever been there before, it's glorious. We're having the Winter Olympics here in 10 years. We've already had the Winter Olympics. My kids get to train at the Olympic training facility in Park City for skiing, which is how cool is that? If you love skiing, that's pretty fun. It's half days every single Friday for all schools in Park City because it's considered Locals Day. And so they want the kids to get outside, the families to get outside. And I'm excited to be in a town that values getting outside and having fun. And anyone who's been following along with me over my journey, I spent some time, I was from Southern California, spent some time in Buffalo, New York, and those values weren't there. Everybody stayed inside. It was really hard for my family. So we're really excited to now be in the Get Outdoors Park City. And yeah, I'm happy that we have half days now and I'm going to do fun stuff every single Friday afternoon. The first guest I am going to have come up is Jordan Duvall. Hey, Jordan.
Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for having me. It was so nice to hear somebody want to do something positive.
That is the most important thing. Jordan is a friend of mine, and I've also hired her for my business. I believe I helped you at one point too.
Exactly.
So anyway, the reason why I brought Jordan up here is she's a branding expert. It's not just about your colors, guys. It's not just about your logo. A really strong brand should follow itself through your entire business, from the words you speak to the colors you use, to the logo, to the website. And what that does is that helps accelerate the know and trust that people need in order to invest in you. And it can also elicit emotions. So depending on what emotions you want people to feel when they are working with you or when they're exploring what you have out on the interwebs, it's so critical. Some of the biggest brands out there are still absolutely crushing it. For example, Cody Sanchez is one of my favorites. She's my online idol right now. If you're not familiar with her, it's Cody with an IE. She teaches people how to buy boring businesses and to buy income, not a job. She is so on brand through everything. Everything she does is either it's the same color scheme, it's the same way that she approaches business. It is on consistency in her logo. She never does anything like everybody else. She has a creed instead of core values, for example. It carries all the way through. I wanted Jordan to jump in here because I believe a super strong brand will help you stand out in this marketplace right now. And to be seen more means more sales opportunities. And if you can accelerate the know and trust, that means more sales at the end of the day. So I'm going to stop talking now. Jordan.
Hello, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me, Michelle. My name is Jordan Duvall, and I'm originally from Los Angeles, so 2 Cali girls in the house. My background is entertainment advertising. I worked in media and advertising for 25 years and then created Ignite Your Soul brand. And we do everything from branding to photo direction to website design to strategy. And everything that we do is built on color psychology and subliminal and subconscious storytelling. Really exciting. And I'm excited to be here because I mentioned there's Like everywhere you turn around, there's doomsday everywhere. And so it's nice to look on the positive side, because if there's one thing that we all know, those of us that do mindset work, it's like what your beliefs and where you put your focus and attention is what you get. So I want to share with you some best practices to really stand out in the marketplace and how to position yourself for success in 2025. There are three big things to keep in mind when it comes to your branding: authenticity, innovation, and connection. For those of you that are watching the replay, just go ahead and share if there are comments or anything. What of those resonate with you the most? Because one of the really key things that you want to focus on through the rest of this year and beyond is you really want to focus on authentic, human-centered storytelling. People want to connect with the real person. They want to know about your real journeys, the challenges, what personal growth you're going through, because that's really going to build a deeper emotional connection between you and your audience. Ultimately, people are signing up with you and what your brand represents. We're not here selling widgets and things like that. So you really want to focus on humanizing your brand and making sure that you have a consistent narrative that carries through all of the different touch points that you have on social media, because that's what's really going to connect you with your ideal client. And the second thing is community, right? Hopefully now COVID is a distant memory. I definitely noticed that about myself. I want to go out and see people in person. If I can, I met someone for a networking thing the other day and we had coffee in person as opposed to meeting on Zoom, especially just being locked down for so long. And before we had the remote world, a lot of us were face to face, and you could have a conversation with someone while you're getting water in the kitchen, go out to lunch with someone. Fostering a community, is there that membership or inclusive group or live events? People really want to feel that sense of belonging and connection. And for anyone that understands the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, love and belonging is one of our top 3 needs. When you can really pour into your audience and your community that way, they're going to respond in kind. Investing in person events, spaces, whether consider creating some sort of community that works well for you. And I would encourage you to find a platform that you're going to feel comfortable being consistent with, whether that's WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook, Mighty Networks, whatever it may be. And the third thing is AI and automation for efficiency. AI has really just become the norm. Everyone's using it in their daily life. Businesses are using it. Brands are using it. It's just going to keep getting more and more intense, and really getting on the bandwagon of how can you use AI to streamline things in your business, use it for creation of things in your business, when everything is going to need you as well. I wouldn't rely on it 100%, because whether you're using it for content or ideation, it still needs the human element, but it's a great way to spitball ideas. Like you said, it's not a replacement for you. And this is going to free you up to be able to be focusing more on the high level strategy and innovation. So as we continue through this year and move into next year, I really invite you to embrace that, because I know for me, when it first came out, I was like, what? Make it go away. I don't want to deal with this. It just continues to get more streamlined and more evolved, and it's just going to continue to weave itself more and more into our daily lives. So the more that you can accept that and really get on board with it, the more beneficial it's going to be for you. And JJ said things are speeding up through AI as well. It's going to go faster. And then number 4 is video. Video has just continued to take over the marketplace. If you're not doing video now, I really invite you and encourage you to start integrating video into your business. Video can come in all sorts of forms. Some of you may be listening to this and just have a panic attack of the thought of getting on video. I totally get it. It took me years to get over that hump and that fear. And once you get through it, you start to build that belief, and you can do talking to camera. You can do screen recordings of things that you do in your business. You can do B-roll. You can do behind the scenes. So there's lots of different ways that you can integrate video. I run a website design studio, and we integrate video wherever we can on websites to just really give it that extra layer. We also do a lot of work through NLP, which is like multi-sensory experiences. So when you can see movement in something, you're calling on someone's attention. Whether you're doing TikToks, Reels, YouTube Shorts, and depending on the size of your business, you can get support and be able to post it on multiple channels. So really dive into that, which leads me to probably one of the most important things, which builds off of what Michelle said: omni-channel consistency. That means being consistent in every space and every place online. So think about some of the big brands that you know and love. Maybe it's Anthropologie or Target. Everywhere you see these companies, whether it's in store, on a commercial, in a magazine ad, on a billboard, on a bag, on the website, everything is the same. The logo is the same. The photography style is the same. The brand voice is the same. This really builds trust because you know what it is that you're getting. So it's really critical that you maintain that consistency across all the places you show up online. If you have an avatar photo, make sure you use the same avatar photo on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, because people know you as this little tiny circle, and that's how they remember you. So you really want to make sure that your social media is consistent, your website, your in person. I can't tell you how many people I followed online, and they give off this impression. And then I see them in person at an event. I'm like, who are you? This kind of goes back to the first note of authenticity. You really want to be yourself online so that when people see you in person, you're going to be at networking events, on Zooms, wherever it may be. And if who you are in one space is not the same as the other space, people are going to be concerned, and it's just not going to build trust. So that's something that you really want to pay attention to and take very seriously. Seeing a brand, if you go to a brand's website and they have beautiful, gorgeous website, and then you go to their Instagram and it's like a total hot mess, and like the fonts are different and the colors are different, and you're just like, what's real here, right? On a conscious level, it makes you doubt their credibility. On a subconscious level, it erodes trust. So that's something that you really want to think about, because it also sends mixed messages and you just become confused. You don't really know what it is that you're getting. And whether you realize it or not, it really plants a seed of doubt of, if I'm not getting this on the front end, what's going to happen when I'm behind the scenes and I'm paying behind a paywall and paying for something high ticket? Am I going to get what I think that I'm paying for? That lack of consistency is going to weaken your brand and really dilute the recognition, because you want someone like, when people see me in this royal blue, like they know Jordan and royal blue is everywhere. And I'm just in the process of going through a rebrand, and the royal blue is coming along because it is part of the brand and people know me as that. The things that you really want to focus on for the rest of the year and next year and beyond is building those deeper connections. Really spend that time to get on calls with people, start to build one-on-one, build a referral network, right? At the end of the day, it's that person-to-person connection. It's that referral. This is my girl. I have people that are like, I'm sending all my clients to you that need a website. And it just makes everything so much easier. You want to embrace the technological advancements, spend some time, whether it's an hour a week or block off an afternoon, and just do some study. And then you want to make sure that you're consistent across all the places that you show up online, whether that's through your photos, through your messaging, through your videos. And so I actually created something special for those of you that are like, I don't really know what that means, or I don't really know how to do that. I created a brand asset audit checklist. And you can download this. It's literally a checklist you can go down, and it tells you each category where you want to be consistent. You can follow along, block out time, and make sure you're consistent across all those spaces. So I'll drop that in the chat, and I hope that helps.
I'm amazing. Thank you so much. I love a good checklist.
Who
And
doesn't?
I print it. I'm a printer. I print it off, set it there, check it all off. That'll be a really great asset. And we'll make sure the link to it goes out in the replay as well. So I'm listening to the replay, which looks like it's going to be the vast majority of everybody today, will be able to access that as well. So one thing you said that I wanted to highlight here is a bit of a teaser to what I'm going to be talking about at the end. You brought up proximity. And that is a really big thing that's selling right now, is proximity to the expert. So digital course sales are down. I don't think anybody is going to argue with that. And proximity is up, meaning how can I get access to the person that I see in this personal brand, for example? It's really big. Now that kind of scares a lot of people who got used to the one-to-many offers, right? Actually, what I'm going to talk about towards the end is how you can still add in that extra layer of proximity without having to do one-to-one work. There are ways around it. There are ways to enhance your, some people hate this word, but it's very descriptive, your containers or your offers. It can really work. This goes for service providers, coaches, consultants, anyone who is offering something from an expertise zone, right? So that's specifically what we're talking to when it comes to proximity. So that's a little teaser, and I'm excited that you talked about that right now, because then I could plug it a little bit and make everybody wait till the end. You're going to want to hear it. Okay. Thank you so much, Jordan. I really appreciate you being here. And I know you can't stay the whole time, but as long as you can stay, we'd love to have you here. Does anybody have any questions for Jordan? If you can put them in the chat if you don't feel like talking. Hey, actually, Jordan, can you also put your preferred social media handle in the chat as well if people want to talk with you afterwards?
Yes, absolutely.
Say
Insta or Facebook is whatever your flavor of choice.
Yeah, I'm getting back into creating videos, and there's a local studio here called Content Kitchen. It's an in-studio experience. You go in there, record for X amount of hours, and they do all of the editing for you. And I'm really excited about it. One thing I wanted to bring up, just as we're going through this and you had talked about video, is that if anyone's noticed, LinkedIn is now a video feed. Anybody else check this out? All right. So LinkedIn was like majorly against short videos. Okay. No way. All I want you to do is post very long PDFs, and that's it. So then a couple of weeks ago, I'm just doing my regular scroll, and now there is a video specific feed. They're rewarding people for submitting their videos now. And before, if you put a video on LinkedIn, no one would ever see it. So this is really exciting because you had talked about omnipresence across all platforms. So you can now use your video effectively on LinkedIn, which is really exciting. Thanks so much, Jordan. Next up, we have Juliana, and then we're going to go to Nabil if he feels up for it. He said maybe, and I was like, I think you're going to. We'll go to Nabil after that, and then I will wrap things up. Juliana has been a client and a friend of mine for, I actually don't know how many years at this point. It's been a long time. And what I admire about Juliana is not just her gift to talk about resilience and balance, especially in the workforce, but what I love about her is that she has truly mastered the SLO. All of her leads come from her self-liquidating offer. And I know very few people, other than the people teaching how to do it, who have success doing this. She gets extremely qualified leads coming into her sales calls from her small offers. So it's really, and she runs tons of ad traffic to it. And she's the one running the ads, which is also so impressive. She does not outsource this. I'm always so impressed with her when it comes to the way she analyzes and grows her business. We're similar in a lot of ways. We love data. We both have big corporate backgrounds. So I guess you can't take that out of us, regardless of what we teach. This past year, she specifically focused on her business with a sales team so that she did not have to do all of the selling. The results were extraordinary. I'm so proud of her. That's my little intro on Juliana. But what she's going to speak to specifically today, because I feel like this is in the air and I want to address it right away. This is the year of roadblocks, regardless if you decide to make them your downfall or your upside, it is year of roadblocks, right? And so if we can just acknowledge that, that's the elephant in the room, right? You have actually two choices when you hit roadblocks. For all of you that don't know Nabil takes my words, I give him voice notes, and he helps me write emails so that I can stay consistent, okay? I literally left this message for Nabil last night, and it's a really good intro to what we're gonna talk about today. Yesterday, in my personal life, I hit roadblock after roadblock, and I thought about it. It's so similar to business. One roadblock I had yesterday is that we just moved to Park City. I'm getting the kids integrated into their sports and everything. My daughter was a competitive cheerleader in New York. She's a great tumbler. I don't really know much about the facilities here yet, but I found this tumbling class that said it was level 2. It looked like a cute studio, so I signed Abby up for it. I walk into the studio yesterday, I drop her off, and she goes in there. There's some girls who can't even do cartwheels. My daughter is working on her back handspring. I'm like, wow, this is a total mom fail right now, right? And I'm like, this is level 2, right? And I guess level 2 doesn't mean skills, it just means the second class of the day. Who knew? So anyway, there's this viewing space that they have in a lot of studios. I can see her in there making these faces. Mind you, my daughter's 8. The girls who couldn't do cartwheels were like 12. So she looks at me and she's, what's going on? And I was like, oh, this is not happening. Like, she's going to get her back handspring. I clearly picked the wrong studio. So I had two options. I could either sit in the corner and cry and be like, I'm the worst mom ever. I didn't do a good job. Or I could go solve the problem. So I got my car and I drove over to the other studio that I'm aware of that never picks up their phone. So I can't call them. And I drove over there. And I walk in and it's this magnificent facility, like so unassuming from the outside. And then you walk in, it's glorious, right? So I walk directly up to the front desk and I tell this woman about the situation and how my daughter's in the wrong class and all the things. And I was like, but online, it says you don't have any availability for advanced tumbling. Welcome to Park City. You know what? We can squeeze one more girl in. It's no problem. Let's get her registered right now. And I was like, oh my gosh, right? So this beautiful outcome, somebody doing something so nice for me. But if I had sat in that other studio thinking I'm a horrible mom, or two, deciding that, oh, it's not a good studio because they don't pick up their phones or they're not responding, then I wouldn't have had that result. And as I was leaving the studio, I saw familiar faces of new friends we had made. And I'm like, oh, this is the right place. In business, and in life, you're going to hit roadblocks and you have choices. So Juliana, you can go ahead and introduce yourself now, speaking on resilience.
Hi, Michelle. By the way, what you just shared, this could easily have happened in Vienna.
Oh,
This is the Viennese lifestyle. Yeah, we have a problem, but we're going to solve it. That's why I didn't want to move away from there. Thank you so much for inviting me, letting me speak. I'm a relationship coach. This is nothing directly connected to what I actually do, but I do think that I have things to share about resilience. And I definitely want to speak about AI because I think AI is one of the major problems for business owners at the moment. But yeah, actually, looking back to my years of corporate, I was massively dealing with resilience there because moving the needle in a corporate it takes a lot of heavy lifting in order to make things happen. And we here are entrepreneurs, so we move the needle in our pace and the way we want it, which is cool, but we have all that risk. I want to share a few ideas. I just wrote them down on a little post-it. And the thing is, if we talk about what it is to be your own business owner, we do have some challenges. We have this desire to create, we have the desire to make some good things in the world, we have the calling that is calling us, and we want to make money, right? We want to have a great source of income. And when we get out there and we notice, oh, this guy here on the left, he's doing it amazing. The lady on the right, she's doing it amazing. And what's happening with me? Like, why I don't have 6 figures yet? Why I don't have 7 figures yet? Why? So we start asking that question, why? And the problem is, under that question usually is the fear of, am I really good enough? Do I really have the skill set that I need to have? Am I going in the right direction? Is my strategy the right one? And this is where so many people start changing strategies, this shiny object syndrome of trying a lot of new things and not really following through. We want to have a business that works, brings the money, and we ultimately want to feel safe. That even as me having my own business and being my own boss, I'm able to support my family. I'm able to have the lifestyle I want. We want that safety. So where do we get lost in that process? One thing I already mentioned is self-doubt, right? The second big thing, and this is specifically what I would like to focus on today, is the idea that we have to constantly grow. So everyone who has worked in a corporate, or even if you buy some form of an investment fund or any form of insurance, if you look at the charts they're presenting, the charts are always growing linear to the sky, basically. If they make 5-year forecasts, it's always going upright. Does that happen in reality? I've been 15 years in corporate in sales and customer service, and we would always make those really cool charts and progressions. And then every year we had to explain, yes, but the economy is bad. Yes, but the building industry doesn't make orders. This, that, then the salaries, then whatever is happening. But we had to explain why this linear thing is not happening the way it should be. Even when I was back in corporate, I was thinking this is such a loss of energy to plan it like this and then to spend the whole year explaining why you're not getting the results. And the funny thing is, really, guys who is here live, just tell me in the chat. Are you making your plan for the year thinking I need to make at least 10% or 20% more than last year? Who is guilty of that? Which is great. Don't get me wrong. There is the 10x is better than 2x and then all those strategies.
We all honestly, Juliana, like we grew 50% over last year and I felt like a complete failure with 50% year over year growth. That's a mental disease I probably have to some degree.
This is exactly what actually puts us in a freezing energy, because I talk about energy, so let's talk about the energetic impact. This is literally putting you in a freeze. And then from that place, you start taking wrong decisions. And as a business owner, you multiply that to your team and so on. But really think about that. For me, this is one of the biggest myths that we follow through. And this is actually wrong. Do I say that we should not grow? No, I was the person in January who said to my team, we're here to 3x our business this year. You know where I am today? I'm barely hitting last year's year to date. Do I sit here crying, feeling like a failure? Today, not. But if you would have asked me 24 hours ago, I do have that part of me. This is what I would love to share a few ideas with you if you're up for that. One of the things I teach in the relationship coaching, which also have helped my clients in business as well, is the idea of being connected to how you feel and really taking enough time to figure out not just what is my next step, what is my next strategy, what I need to do, but really allowing some space to feel your feelings around that. Because when we do not do that, what actually happens to us is we get even more into that spiral of, it's almost like a hamster wheel, like I have to do. This strategy doesn't work, let me jump to the next activity, next webinar, next promotion. And then we get into that thing and we get ourselves in an energetic state. We were completely unable to see our root cause problem. We are unable to make the right decision. We're not connecting to our gut feeling. Our gut feeling for business owners is probably the most important thing. So that's actually the problem here. My invitation to you is to start paying more attention to how you feel about your business. I can tell you from 2,000 coaching hours, when you start feeling, there's a lot of unpleasant stuff nobody wants to feel. We really have to do it. As a relationship coach, I developed the process, which I call the breakup to breakthrough. The idea is to, instead of trying to move on, trying to feel better, actually surrender to the yuck and to the discomfort. And this will propel you really quickly in a state where you feel energetically aligned with yourself and you continue towards your goal. So just to give you a few examples how that looks like for me. I said in January, we're going to 3x our business. Now I have the sales team, I can scale. My older son got sick. So for 2 months, he was not going to daycare. Tried to work. After he finished his sick period, we relocated internationally to a place which I had a lot of resistance going to, and I still have resistance. Resistance is not good for performance and being energetically aligned with anything. Then we relocated and my husband started a new job. So who was taking care of that? Me. So this was 1 full month where I was just not really present in the business. And then May hit. And from May until end of July, my business is low season because everyone goes on holiday and they're just not bothered about their relationships. So you can imagine trying to have a business while life is happening. On top of that, AI was present last year, but last year it was not really good. This year, AI is getting really good. What does that mean? Everyone starts putting out new offers, new information, new videos, new articles. in a way quicker pace. So that turnaround time is so shorter, even compared to last year. Compared to 3 years ago, we're really on a different place. And what I started noticing, because you mentioned digital products don't sell. So what I started noticing, my awesome sales page that you praised so highly, in May, it stopped selling. When I started looking into the behavior of the people hitting that page, they were just not spending enough time on that page so that I can sell them and persuade them on the page. The attention span is even worse than last year. And compared to 3 years ago, it's worlds. And you see it in the videos, you see it in the way we edit videos, you see it in sales copy, obviously, right? You have to be so dense in catching people's attention and holding it. And you have to make a headstand on a video to really stand out. And this puts even more pressure. And the problem is, if as a business owner, you fall into an emotional pit where you don't want to work with your own emotions, your energy gets really low. From a place of low energy, you take wrong decisions and you start talking to yourself, yeah, it's not meant for me. It just doesn't work for me. My business doesn't work. It's the economy. It's the political situation. It's the inflation, right? Who has been there? And what I did, so basically one of the things I did is I just felt my feelings, which when you do it on your own can look like in various ways. Nobody's watching, so it doesn't matter. And the second thing is, I just refused to accept that I had a great selling product that out of the sudden magically stopped selling. I just refused to accept that the market does not have the need for my product. I refuse to accept that the economy and the political situation and the holiday period out of the sudden is making women so happy that they don't have a problem in their relationships. No. And really this refusing to accept the outer factors, but really pushing through that from a state of energetic alignment, and I think this is the important part, is what eventually helped me. I'm not a 7-figure entrepreneur, so I can't really speak about that. But what I believe the difference between a 6-figure and a 7-figure entrepreneur is the mindset and the level of professionalism. So what the situation made me do this year in order to survive, now I'm back on track, but in order to survive that, was me literally obsessing over data. I didn't have the need because it was selling, it was fine, it was okay. I had to start obsessing over data. I show you my Excel sheets, everything you possibly can track. I'm tracking it at the moment so that I understand the psychology. I created 4 different buyer personalities for me, which are quiz results. I've been working with those people for a while, so I knew them, but really I put them in a paper, and now I'm starting to work out my marketing messaging for each personality individually. Honestly, this is hell of a work, because it's almost like having 4 businesses if I need to do it right. And this is what I'm on at the moment. And I'm learning so much about my buyers. For example, when I did that and started looking at the data, I found out that 40% of the quiz takers, which are my potential audience, speaking to them, because my marketing speaks to the other 30. The point I really want to make is resilience is about picking yourself up. The quicker you pick yourself up, the quicker you adjust, the quicker you will know what works in your business. And in order to pick yourself quick, you have to pay attention to your energy, pay attention to how you feel, and really make sure you're energetically aligned with whatever you're doing. So that's the point from my side.
I love that a couple of things that you said really stood out to me. Low energy is bad decisions. So that's really powerful. And I think energy management is critical. I have this rule: if I'm tired, I don't make any decisions. So I'm like, nope, I gotta sleep. Everybody here who knows me well enough knows I make extremely fast decisions. There's no gray area for me. But if I'm tired, like, no way. And I think that's like a really critical thing. And now sleep doesn't always fix your low energy. There could be other things happening. I don't even know if I'm sacral. How would I know if I'm sacral? Jordan asked me a question. I probably.
It's a human design thing. I don't know if you're sacral. Are you a generator?
I might be. I can't remember what I'm a 5-1 manifesting generator, but I can't remember any more.
Okay. Yeah. I would guess you're sacral.
Yeah, I'm going to probably, that sounds familiar to me. So yes. The other thing, when you were talking, Juliana, about feeling your feelings, one thing that's on my list, and they have them here in Salt Lake, is a rage room. Has anyone ever done a rage room? Jordan, I think maybe you have with Tracy, maybe?
Many times, yes.
Okay. So can you speak for 30 seconds about what that feels like to go to a rage room?
Yeah. First of all, the first time, I think I went once by myself and then 1 or 2 times with friends. The third time I went, I like threw out my shoulder because I was like backing a toaster. So just be careful what you're doing. It is very hard on the body. But I think feeling your feelings is not always the most pleasant thing. It's like, how many things can we do to avoid feeling our feelings? So let's watch a show. Let's have ice cream. Let's name insert thing to not feel feelings. And one of the feelings that we don't really feel a lot of, I think, especially as women, is anger. We're really taught to be angry is not appropriate, right? It's put up with the shit and swallow it down and just deal with it. And we find ways to mask it. And so if you can really get in touch with the anger, but it doesn't always feel good to do that. And so the rage room is nice because it gives you a space where you can actually go and beat the crap out of stuff, which is nice. You know, one of our mentors that Michelle worked with as well is scream into your arm. And I was like, I don't really love that. And but you can punch a bag, like kickboxing is great. So I think just things to like get the energy moving, because emotion is energy. And when it's stuck, like it also creates, it really exacerbates that resistance, and what you resist persists. So if you're resisting something, you're actually making it stick around longer.
Wait, say that again. What you resist? What, say that again?
What you resist persists.
Oh, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I'm a punching
Yeah.
bag kind of lady. We have one
Yeah.
here. I'm like, that's my deal. I got to hit something. I
Yeah.
can't just scream. I need contact. Maybe that's why I'm also
Yeah.
single. Oh my gosh,
Exactly.
it's so funny. And I've never gotten in a fight in my life. So it's only inanimate objects for me. Awesome. Thank you so much for speaking up on that. All right. Thank you so much, Juliana. I really appreciate you coming here and speaking up and being so raw with what's happening in your business this year. But I would also like to say, because I think you're like me in a lot of ways, you don't tend to recognize all of the progress in your business when it's not the exact number that you want. I would like to recognize that Juliana is not taking sales calls. So she has removed herself from that process. And that is freaking huge. And her sales rep is hitting KPIs, so much so that he recently asked for a raise because he's so much better than he was, right? And that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But I want to, which we may or may not provide that. So anyway, but what I'm saying is that more money is not always the sign of a healthy business. And I know that might sound uncomfortable, but there are periods of time in a business where you make huge shifts, like taking yourself off of sales calls and allowing yourself that time freedom. Can you imagine if Juliana didn't have a sales rep when her son was sick for 2 months and when she moved across the country to another country? Although she didn't 3X, I just want to recognize her business is stable, it's growing, it's sustainable, she's doing what she loves, and it helped her in a really tumultuous time. So I'm going to recognize that for you.
Yeah, Michelle, if I need to put it in a number, I would have had probably only 25% of my volume over the whole last winter without a sales system in place.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
By the way, what I didn't tell you, I made yesterday webinar just for my email list. I had 30% booked calls on the webinar, during the webinar. But I went through, just shared what I went through, and I was really questioning if this business will survive. And this is the part of picking yourself up somehow and the thing is, talking about an alignment and resilience, when I was preparing the pitch and I was thinking, should I pitch the program or should I just pitch them on a call? And really thought for a moment, what feels easier for me? What will be the easier one for me? I was like, I have a salesperson. Why should I pitch the whole thing? I just send them and then he can handle.
Yeah.
This happened. This idea came in a moment where I was not in the hamster wheel, where I was just being quiet. And that's the point.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love that. And I'm so excited. 30% to book a call, like rocking it, girl. All right. Awesome. And so everybody knows it's been the great debate this year with her webinars. I'm really excited to hear that. Awesome. All right. So next up is Nabil. So Nabil has been in my world for also, I don't know how long, years. So he has helped me so much with every cycle of my business. So I think that most of you know for the last year, I took on one large client because I love a challenge. And as the CRO, I wanted to install his entire marketing and sales department, hit all of the KPIs, and really crush the growth. And that is the client that I helped hit the Inc. 5000. And I actually resigned from that position this week. And why? As I conquered, I did all of the things, 50% year over year growth, Inc. 5000. Now he has that full team. I'm an entrepreneur, friends. So that is, I conquered, I learned, and now I'm on to my next thing. And I'm not entirely sure what that next thing is going to look like, but I'm going to talk about some stuff towards the end of today's call as well, if you're curious. I'm taking some advice I probably should have taken a while ago, and I'm going to allow some quietness for a few weeks for me to determine, okay? And I'm always on that like activity hamster wheel that we were talking about. And I'm going to do things that just feel organically really beautiful and good and fulfilling and helpful. And that's how I'm going to start. So I am taking on the approach of that feminine energy. And I act a lot in the masculine. I say that to Nabil all the time. So the way that Nabil has supported me over the last couple of years is that so for a while there, he was periodically helping me with email campaigns, but for the last year, he allowed me to stay in contact with all of you, helping me with my Sunday Sales Delight newsletter and my email campaigns. So the relationship that we have is that I send him voice notes with everything I want to say, and I record videos, and then he takes it off my plate, puts it in beautiful emails, sends it out to our list, make sure that we're getting sponsors, makes like all of my sales pages as needed, looks at the statistics, edits my videos. He's really doing a lot of things for me. And I'm really grateful for that, because I don't think I would have been able to stay as present as I did over the last year without Nabil. And he just makes it really easy for me. So I'm super grateful that that my friend across the world, who's a guy who can sound like me from my voice notes. So thank you. Right? Because that's a huge part of it, is I didn't want to like not sound like me. And maintaining my brand is really important. And so he's always so patient too. If I give him feedback and I'm like, no, just wanted to give that shout out to Nabil, and thank you so much for this last year, just like being so supportive, because yeah, it's hard to have a team of 26 and still stay present in your brand. Thank you for that. So with that being said, Nabil's here to share some things, some cool things about emails and how you can make more sales doing that. I think that's what he wants to talk about. Hey, Nabil.
Hey, what's up? I think I need to charge you more.
I know, right?
On the subject of voice, though, I found that, and I don't actually tell this in public, I mention it in private. Everybody sounds alike for the most part. If you've written for one woman, like you can write for anyone, any woman, and if you've written for one guy, you can write for any guy, because they all tend to say the same things in their social media posts, and they all tend to speak with the same voice and use the same sort of jargon. If I'm writing for the sort of food types, I'll drop sacral and what is the other one, Michelle? You talk about nervous system deregulation.
Oh yeah, nervous system regulation.
Yeah, so like I'll drop like some words, some those kinds of words in there.
So funny thing about Nabil is he underscores his talent. He's, oh, if you've written for one woman, then you could write for them all. You write for one guy, you could write for them all, or not, because I've used a lot of copywriters that can't do that. Oh, we got a smile. All right. So he's very direct, very dry, but every once in a while I get to see his teeth when he smiles all the way. So anyway. Okay.
Okay, and I've been working in the background, but I've been paying attention while everybody was talking. I'd just like to recommend this one book if you guys haven't read it. It's called Alchemy by Rory Sutherland. Don't just read the book, but he's got a ton of, like, he's a very public figure, so he's got a ton of podcasts and masterclasses, webinars. You can find him all over the place. In fact, you'll find clips of him all over the place on Instagram and TikTok. And I won't spoil the surprise, but just listen to what he says about marketing and solving business problems, and then maybe apply some of what he says to your business, keeping in mind the sort of topics that you've been talking about trying to control things and about focusing a lot on data and trying to pay attention to data. So read that book, watch his podcasts and videos and things like that, and you might get a few tips out of it. And then on the subject of AI, right now I use AI to find out what not to write. I think AI has actually made me a lot better writer, because it starts like there's so many, I call them chat GPT-isms, that it has these certain verbal tics that it constantly uses. And anytime you get an output generated from ChatGPT, you have to like figure out what those are and then go through and delete them basically. And so by looking at the way ChatGPT writes, I've stopped using a lot of cliches and jargon sort of words that a lot of people tend to default to, like skyrocket, level up, elevate, deep dive. I stopped using all of those words, because what does it even mean? You have to be like, the words that you use have to be very clear, and there should be no room for like odd interpretations. So what I usually use AI for is for like bullshit copywriting, where it's like you need the words to publish what you want to publish, but like the words are not so important. So like a YouTube description where you just need it for keyword optimization and SEO and things like that, I'll use it for that. I'll use it for like routine kind of articles or blog posts or emails that don't need to be like super optimized or things like that. But in general, what I found is that you'll get a much better output if you start having a conversation with the AI and let it go back and forth with it, and let it talk to you and ask questions, and then based on its responses, like you can incorporate the responses into the output. For example, what I do a lot with Michelle's work is whenever she sends me a video, once I'm editing it, I've got the transcript. I upload the transcript into the AI, and then I ask the transcript to, for example, what are the main points being talked about in this transcript? Pull out certain quotes that I can use. And then based off of those responses, I'll say, okay, come up with an outline, or write a YouTube SEO optimized description based off of this particular title. And so that's how I tend to use it. On the email side, I don't know how often you guys email. Easy way to get a transcript is I use Descript for all of my video editing. I'm not like a professional video editor. I use Descript, and so you just upload the video to Descript. It transcribes it for you. It does a pretty good job with the transcripts. It works better with like American accents, like more common kind of accents. So it's 95 to 90 something % accurate. Loom also does a transcript. Loom's transcript is very good. And so then all you got to do is download the transcript, like export the transcript, and then upload it to ChatGPT. Any kind of AI, they work better with text file or a document file as opposed to a PDF. It has trouble with detecting all of the words. But if you upload anything you wanted to analyze in a plain text file, it's quite accurate. And so that's what I've been using it for. On the email marketing side of things, I don't know how often you all email your list, but we do pretty much daily emails, sometimes more than once a day. The sweet spot for like 80 to 90% of people is 3 emails a week. That's, that is frequent enough that you're getting much better mileage out of your email list, and also you won't get burnt out trying to come up with content ideas. What I like to do usually is I'll send 3 emails a week and then resend to the unopens on the off days. So you're basically getting 6 emails a week. Another thing that a lot of people need to pay attention to is making sure that they're only emailing their engaged audience. And so have some sort of segmentation or automation set up where you're only emailing the people who are actually opening and clicking on your emails. You don't have to get rid of the people who are unengaged. You can try to reactivate them every month, once a month or twice a month or every other month, that kind of thing. But to keep your email open rates high and your deliverability high, you want to make sure that you're emailing your engaged list only. And then I don't know if everybody's got all of their email authentication records installed. That is affecting a lot of people's open. I think we fixed one with Michelle's client where their records were not. Actually, their records were fine. It's just that we were not excluding the bounced email addresses. That's another thing. You want to exclude anybody that bounces, hard bounce, soft bounce, exclude them from your emails and never email them again. The email clients are all being super strict with emailing people who aren't engaging, and if you email people who aren't engaging, they tank your deliverability quite hard.
And I'll say one thing on that, my Sunday Sales Delight newsletter that I hope you all are reading, because if you're not, I'm going to unsubscribe you. And the reason why is we have a 60% open rate and a 12.3% click-through rate, because we only email engaged people. And when they stop engaging, we give them a series of emails that say, you better engage or we're going to unsubscribe you. So that's a pretty extraordinary number that I'm personally very proud of. So good job, Nabil.
And on the topic of the newsletter, if you guys find it like tiresome or a bit of a hassle to write a newsletter, I would recommend starting a newsletter in Beehive, because you get ads and you can get paid to write your newsletter. Right now, the Sunday Sales Delight newsletter is quite small, but even so we pay for our email, like the hard costs of sending the newsletter. Right now, it's like cash flow positive, that newsletter, just off of those little ads that we send out in every email. If you want to get paid to send out an email newsletter, I would recommend starting your newsletter on Beehive. It also saves you the hassle of having a website, because the emails are already automatically published to your blog, where not that many email service providers have that feature, where it's like an email and website in one. In any case, that's not the main benefit. The main benefit is like to get paid to send your newsletters.
Oh, I was on mute. Yes, I agree. It's amazing. Do you have anything else, Nabil? That was awesome.
I think that's all. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Awesome. Yes. So the email deliverability was like such a headache in February, and I'm so glad that's done. So, but if you're still having email deliverability issues, get them fixed, friend, because they are so strict and they're going to get even stricter, and you want to end up in primary inboxes. It's really important. And I've actually had a lot of fun with emails this past year. So a lot of you may have originally found me years ago with my Facebook group, and that was like my go-to place for a super long time. And I just noticed that it was like the engagement was falling off, not just in mine, but like everywhere. And that's when I started to lean into email. And it's been really fun. To Jordan's point of building community, it doesn't have to be like a group. It could be an email community. It could be a lot of different places. I still love my Facebook group, and I am like, fingers crossed, maybe Facebook's going to make some changes where the people who want to see my stuff actually see it. Right? They're just not really helping right now. And I'm hesitant to try another platform, because I forget who said this, but you should sell the way you buy. I don't remember who said that, if anybody knows. Anyway, that is something that kind of sticks in my head, because I am not a big fan of having to go to a different application to do things in, other than Voxer for like private conversations. But from a marketing standpoint, I'm just like not a real big fan of it. So for me, that's why I haven't gone off of Facebook yet. And I'm holding out. LinkedIn said no to video for so long, and now they're in. So maybe Facebook groups. I don't know about you guys. I would gladly pay a monthly fee to Facebook for people to see my stuff, like gladly, inside my group. So I'm hoping they'll catch on soon, especially with the school games and the school exodus is what I would call it. We'll see what happens though. But all right, awesome. Thank you so much,
But-
Nabil. Yes.
By the way, if you're thinking of starting a school group, don't. Michelle has been bugging me about, oh, should we move to school? School is shit. School is built for Sam Ovens to exit. It's not built for people who want to create communities. And you can see that from the design. So if you're thinking of building a community off of Facebook, right now I'm actually doing a community migration. I'm migrating my own community to Mighty Networks. I was on Circle. So either Circle or Mighty Networks, both are good. Right now, I think Mighty Networks is better. It's just, I think it's a better experience for building communities. And yeah, so don't use school.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Lacey in the comments right now is so funny. She's, as a fellow tech person, I am loving this blunt list. I've used Circle for clients as well. But yeah, if you're like a little bit newer to my world, this is how we come at. There's no fluff. There's no fluff. We talk real business.
Why is school shit? I really would like to understand because I've been considering, so I'm interested.
Yeah. Go ahead, Nabil.
Okay, so the main thing is that they don't let you have your community on a custom domain. So all of the traffic that you're driving to your community is owned by school because your community is on a subfolder on the school domain. So it's school.com/, I'm just going to, Juliana, yes. I was going to say Vienna because Vienna, I know Vienna from one of my favorite movies, which is Amadeus. But anyways, Juliana. So it'll be like school.com/Juliana. So all of your traffic, all of your community building, all of your page views, all of your time on site, all of your low bounce rates, all of your engagement metrics, they all count towards school and not Juliana's community. So when the private equity guys come in to make a valuation and make an offer or offer a term sheet to Sam Ovens, like all of those metrics are going to be valued because they don't understand subdomain versus custom domain. They just see numbers on a spreadsheet, right? So it's built, that's how the software is built. It's built by, I say it's built by an autist, not an artist. It's built by like an engineer type of mind. Like, how do I game this community software in order to maximize the outcome for me?
Did I hear
Circle,
right?
yeah, go ahead.
I really want to ask that. I think I heard something important. Did you suggest that if you put a community on a subdomain of your own domain, people engaging there will improve the authority ranking of the domain?
No, not necessarily, but it's not going to, the subdomain actually is like its own website. If you have www.juliana versus members.juliana, they technically operate as two different websites for SEO purposes. But what I mean is you're putting all of this effort into building a community and getting them engaged, and all of that brand building that you're doing is actually you're not seeing the benefit of that because it's not under your branding, it's under school's branding. And some people will say, oh, this is not important because whatever, it's the community, it's easy to use, the app is fast. But I think it's important that you can actually own stuff that you create online. You own your audience, you own your community. If I'm paying you $97 a month, I better have my website domain on it. Otherwise, why am I paying you $97 a month?
Okay, that's awesome. Juliana, did that answer your questions?
Yes, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm using Slack in the free version of Slack and it works.
Yeah.
Slack is fine. Yes, absolutely.
Yep. And I don't think that can you do the custom domains on Slack? I don't actually even know.
No, it's not. You're going to have to, but that's different. Slack is more like a work app where you download it on your computer and it operates that way. Slack operates more off of the network effect and things like that. And they're not using your traffic to go public or get an exit.
That makes sense. All right, awesome. Okay, everybody. So now it's my turn. And before I jump in, I'm hoping this works right when I share my screen here. I'm going to share a short video from my friend Veronica. And if you don't know who she is, you should, because she's super cool. And she's a master marketer. She's worked for the Fortune 500 brands, for the personal brands. She has an awesome podcast. Her emails are great. She's fantastic at research. And we talk all of the time. And she had asked me to take her survey a few weeks ago. And it was all about like buyer behavior. What do you need in an offer in order to say yes in 2024 and beyond? Like, how has your buying patterns changed? She has a very large audience and thousands of people, if not more, participated in the survey. And she came back with these 6 non-negotiables that need to be in your offer. And so I always say, I love to prove things, to interview people, to talk to people. And basically what's in this video is what I believe completely, wholly, am in my whole body as a strategist. Because if you all remember, depending how long you've been around me, Power of Three offer creation, that is how I got my name. That was like the very first thing I went out and did, was creating these offers and these fast action sales plans to go into sell them immediately to your existing audience. So it's been something I've always been passionate about. I love creating offers and productizing knowledge and all of these things. And so when I listened to Veronica's video, because she's on vacation right now, so she couldn't be here live, I was like, oh my gosh, she just proved what I know. So I want to share this right now, and hopefully this works the way that I want to do it. I've never done this before, so bear with me. All right, so I think when I press play, you should be able to hear her. If you can't, tell me and I'll figure it out, okay? And we're gonna play her at 1.5 speed because that's my jam, okay? We've got 5 minutes to listen in here.
Hey guys, I'm Veronica. I'm a marketing consultant and I want to help you just crush it in 2024. And so Michelle asked me to join you at this really cool roundtable and I wasn't able to do it because I'm out of town. I still want to record this video. I still want to give you enormous value because I'm obsessed with Michelle. She's one of the smartest people that I know. And I know a lot about marketing, lots and lots of things. So I've worked with publicly traded companies, privately held companies, small businesses, big businesses, like Little Bear, Big Bear, and some personal brands, some big names that you might know at some of the highest visibilities that you can imagine. And here's the rub of it. People are still spending a ton of money. Like I know it feels tight in this economy. I know that the news scares us and the inflation, all the things. Okay. I don't know if you know Swiftie in your life who spent thousands of hours and thousands of dollars to go see our girl Taylor on stage. They bought outfits, they got the hotel, they got the flight, they got like, people are still spending money and they're spending money on experiences, once in a lifetime opportunities. So here's what I want to say, because I've done some research. I've even analyzed my own buying behaviors, because even if you look at yourself, if you haven't done this exercise, I suggest you start with this. I want you to analyze how you have changed your buying behaviors over the course of the last 6 months, 12 months. And also look at yourself like Facebook does. Like I'm married, I live in a dual income household, I live in a great zip code, I have discretionary income. Like think about all the things that demographically you look like on paper and then look at how you've been buying. So I did that and I advise everybody to do that first and foremost. And so then what I did was I asked all of my famous friends, all of my former clients, all of my current clients and members, all of my really smart marketing friends, like all of that. And I started compiling like all of their observations of what they've seen and what people are still purchasing and their predictions for the future. And I've compiled it into a list. And so I want to share that list with you to see, hopefully it could be helpful. Let's pull up the list. Non-negotiables for 2024 and 2025 offers, products, services, basically anything that you're offering to somebody that they have to make a financial decision to say yes or no to. Number one, high proximity, intimacy, high touch, personalized or customized. So even if you're not a one-on-one provider, what about your thing feels high touch, high proximity, intimacy, personalized customization? Or how can we reposition what you're already doing that's already gone really well for you? How can you go back to your sales page, go back to the thing that you do so well and say, okay, we describe it this way, but really it is intimate. It is high touch. There is some personalization and customization. Like, why aren't we calling that out? Call it out. Second non-negotiable ingredient of success is the immersiveness, right? Is it immersive? Is it providing experience? Does it feel once in a lifetime? Does it feel like I really couldn't pass this up even if I wanted to? Clearly, I use the example of Taylor Swift because her concerts aren't indefinite. It's not like Disney World, right? Which is why you see Disney World park tickets reflective of the fact that like families go, I can always go to Disney. And Taylor Swift, unless you're not always going to be on tour. So how can you put some scarcity, urgency? How can you, again, I don't want it to be inauthentic and I certainly don't want it to be fabricated. We're not going to be that. But is there a natural urgency or scarcity to what you have to offer that you really just haven't communicated properly enough? Do you have a set number of people who can buy the thing? Are you only running it for a very specific time? Is it only going to be in this way at this price for this long? Think of it that way. You have to really communicate what they're passing up on. And if you're not describing it like a little bit like a once in a lifetime, then are you really doing it justice? Third non-negotiable is steal of a deal, stupid price. And when I say stupid price, I don't mean cheap, because people buy $300,000 packages and they'll say this is a stupid price. It's a perception of value. I'm spending 25 cents, but I'm getting $1 of value. Like, how are you making sure that, yeah, they're enrolling a $50,000 semester at college, but normally it's $200,000 a semester. Like, how can you put your price in context? So even someone like myself who lives in a dual income household, who has discretionary income, who has made significant, investments in the past, I still feel, no matter what I spend, that's a steal of a deal. Everybody else is a steal of a deal, okay? Number 4, done for you component of some kind. People don't want to learn how to do stuff. We want somebody to help us do stuff. And so we're definitely seeing an uptick, and I don't think this will stop, of less DIY, even though it's cheap, and more, is any of this going to be taken off my plate? Is any piece of this can be taken off my plate? Again, are you positioning your stuff, your offers, your services as done for you in some capacity? It's going to be all done for you. You're not an agency unless you are. But what elements can we reposition to say this, by you having this software, by you having this tool, by you having this thing, it's like having social media done for you. Like my husband works in software, and that's literally one of the things that they say, our software is the equivalent of social media manager doing this for you. Some good language, right? Okay, but never mind. Number 5, I'm 6. Number 5, non-negotiable high trust. I know that you know about social proof. I know that you know about testimonials. We got to go deeper. We got to go deeper. You have to put gasoline on anything that would establish trust, right? Rapport, faster, deeper, more unique. For example, I am a consultant. Every new client, whether they ask for it or not, I'm going to introduce them to 3 previous clients. Don't take my word for it. Talk to clients who work with me in the last 2 weeks. Like whatever we can do just needs to be the standard, not we do it if it's requested. Okay. And the last non-negotiable I'll share with you is no fluff of any kind. Get to it or lose me forever. You have to remember with AI, with social media, everything accessible to us, some of the best education in the world is for free. So if behind your paid wall is fluffy or filler of any kind, I am so not here for it. People are looking for compression. They're looking for time saving. They're looking for just, come on, take my load from here and here. And so be very careful. I don't care, especially if you're in an online education space, there's an element of what you have to offer that's online education based or education based. Make sure, for example, one of the trends that we're seeing is online courses aren't as popular, but what is really popular is very deep, profound micro learning. So again, not that you can't sell education, but again, it has to be meaty, punchy, concise. Don't give me fillers or fluff. those are my non-negotiables for what's going to be working in 2024. It's already working in 2024, but I don't see this stopping in 2025. And so I want you to look at everything that you do, check the list of the 6 things I just gave you, and just make sure we can see, hey, where can I position this just a little bit more so people feel the tangibility of what I have to give them. Hope that helps. If you want to learn more about me or hang out with me in any capacity, I can be found at veronicaromney.com or anywhere on social media as Romney.
All right. Isn't she awesome? I love her. Okay. So that's like my Voxer buddy on the regular. All right. So I agree with her 100% on every single thing that she said. And I also believe that regardless if you're B2B, B2C, agency, done for you provider, coach, consultant, you can infuse your existing offers or adjust them to capitalize on everything that she said here. And not just the actual deliverable, but like how can you change your sales page or emails or the way that you're doing social media? I'll give you a really good example of something that I'm seeing in the sales space right now, specifically sales education. Is what I'm noticing is that they're a link in arms with a product. Okay. So maybe it's a cold email product, for example, if a sales guy specializes in outbound cold emails. So they literally educate for free all day long on Instagram or TikTok or whatever their chosen platform is. But then behind the paywall, the first thing that's behind the paywall is templates. So time saving, proximity to his knowledge, their updates constantly. So now depending on what you sell, this may or not apply, but templates, shortcuts, time. And it's also not something that someone can go just like swipe off of a YouTube instructional video or an Instagram video. Like the templates are time saving, right? So, and then after that is when you can then start to integrate things like the coaching or the consulting, right? So I'm seeing a lot of these patterns. I'm also seeing and other things that I'm seeing that I love is the proximity to people, but not necessarily one-to-one. Small group in-person gatherings work for a lot of people. And if it's not in person, at least it's virtual. One thing that I am seeing people get a little fatigued on is the traditional group coaching, where it's every week we meet and we coach on something, that's getting a little bit fatiguing. So how can we meet together, maybe less time, but more densely? So blocks of time together versus 1 hour here or 1 hour there. So that is really powerful. So for example, if I wanted someone to create a sales plan, like we get together for a whole day, not like I educate on 1 week, you come back the next week, yada, yada, yada. The perception, the value, steal for a stupid price or whatever Veronica said, goes up with that. So these are the types of things that like I'm seeing sell right now. And I'm also noticing with my own buyer behavior. And when she was talking about micro learning, I want to hit her back and see if I'm accurate on this, but micro learning it's not your typical course. It's more of I need to know how to do this one thing. And so you're educated on one thing and all the plug and play templates or help that you need are in that. And I've personally bought 2 of those this year. And so that's something big for me as well. And for me, it's also proximity is big for me right now, not just with the expert, but with the people in the group, if it's a group offer. Okay. I want the intimacy of getting to know people, to network, and that's important for me. So I think it's a really great exercise for what she mentioned is to go back, really analyze the way that you're buying right now. I think that's super, super powerful. So does anybody have anything to say about after listening to Veronica's little session? I would love to hear any feedback, questions, or like light bulb moments that you're having right now. Oh, that was incredible. Yay. Love it in the chat. Loved it. Loved it. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Go hang out with her. She's super cool. All right. So as I mentioned earlier in the call is that I recently resigned from my large client that was consuming most of my time. I have always had my inner circle, my mastermind. So that has never gone away. Juliana is in that this year, but I am doing something special for the month of September. And I'm really excited about it. And it hits all of the check marks that Veronica mentioned as well. So there's a couple of ways that you can work with me if you're interested in working with me in September and probably October. There's 3 ways. One is I would love to invite you to come to Park City for 2 days with me. So what are we going to do in those 2 days? The first day is going to be digging into your business and assessing your sales process and also your sales plan for Q4 and Q1, making sure that it's perfectly in alignment. It has the playbooks that you need and the processes, right? We're going to avoid shiny object syndrome. We're also going to reassess all of the offers you have in your business to determine which ones will perform the best in 2024 and 5, make the adjustments as needed. One element that I'm going to make sure that you have, because this is what I saw and what I'm seeing right now in 2024, and I'm going to go into that in just 1 second, is if you don't have a way to get repeat business to increase your lifetime value of your clients in an MRR model or something that a contract renewal model, you're going to be chasing your freaking tail for the rest of your life as a business owner and get exhausted. So that absolutely has to be part of your business if you want your business to grow and you don't want to burn out. Okay. So what we're also going to do when you come to Park City is we're going to spend a day together, you and me, doing that in your business. Okay. Then on the second day, you're going to spend 4 hours in the Content Kitchen Studios that is here it's in Salt Lake. So just a little bit of a distance away from Park City. So you get 4 hours of studio time, and you will also get everything edited as. So in 4 hours, you could probably get at least a quarter's worth of social media content created. You could create VSLs. If you have a course that you want to record, you can do that. If you have a podcast you want to record in bulk, you can do that, and everything will be edited and delivered to you. Because one thing that I think everyone will agree is that staying consistent on your video creation for your brand is really hard. Okay. And so if you dedicate the time and you have it professionally done, you're prepared for it, it'll be really powerful. So that's one way you can work with me. I only have space for 2 of those. So first come, first serve. Just send me an email or ping me on social if you want more details on that and see what the availability is. Okay. And then the second way is if you live far away and you still want some one-to-one attention, I'm doing 4-hour virtual consulting sessions like VIP days. So I'm going to also open up for 2 of those as well. And we can deep dive into anything in your business, but I would recommend offers, sales process. And if you do have a sales team or want a sales team, creating the right playbooks together for that. Okay. And then lastly, if you just need to chat for an hour and you want to get through some bottlenecks in your business and you want to plan accordingly, I'm going to have 5 1-hour sessions open. Okay. So once all of those are taken, it is taken and I am done. But coming off of having the one large client for all of this year, I am so excited to get into lots of businesses again and also share with you what worked. And that's what I'm going to talk about right now. Okay. So this is predictions are for what was this year all the way through 2026 is exactly what Veronica said in her messaging. That is one. So that's from the offers standpoint. So the way that you create your offers reflective of what she said in that video will be absolutely critical. 2 is if you do not have a recurring revenue strategy or a way to increase the lifetime value of your clients so that you don't have to constantly go get new ones, you're going to absolutely burn out. You're not going to be able to keep up and your business is going to become more of a hobby over time. So that is an absolute non-negotiable. And it feels really good every month to see all of those recurring charges pop up in your account. It allows you to have time freedom. It allows you to take vacation. It allows you not to be on that activity hamster wheel all of the time. And if you think about it, there's outside of this personal brand space and this online education space, there's really no product out there that any investor would ever want to buy that was a one-time purchase. Okay. Like really think about that. For example, if you sell microphones, okay, you sell microphones every time. And for me, I got a new phone and the microphone, now I have to change to the new model because the connection point is different. You come back, you're a recurring customer, right? The company that my husband works for, that he's scaling their e-com, it's high-end cleaning products for things like leathers and shoes and hats. And the thing is that it runs out and you've got to buy more, right? But a lot of times in this space that we're in, it's so highly transactional that it's exhausting to then create longevity in our business. So it's really important. Okay. So we have the things that Veronica mentioned in the offers. We have the MRR or some way to increase the lifetime value of your client or your lifetime value of your client. Ooh, okay. And the third thing now comes down to a sustainable sales process for your business. Okay. And that's going to look different for everyone. Some of you will want to do DM enrollments. Some of you will want to have everything purchased off of your webpage, right? But I believe that the sales team having discovery calls is never going to go away, because just like Veronica spoke and just Jordan spoke as well, is the intimacy with the brand is taking over. So if you try to eliminate it, then I think it's going to be very challenging. So how can you A, sustain the calls yourself, or B, have some of the sales process taken off of your shoulders by a sales team member? Okay. And as a reminder, you don't have to have a closer, a setter, a social seller. You don't have to have a 200,000 or more valued team, right? There are very simple ways that you can add someone into your business at a sales team level to take some of that pressure off of you. Okay. So if you're interested in getting my support, then those are our options. Just send me a message. I'm also going to follow up via email as well. So it's easy to reply if you're interested. But that is limited spots. So 2 for Park City, Utah, 2 for the 4-hour half-day VIP days, okay? And just 5 for the 1-hour sessions, all right? That's all I have capacity for, and I wanna make sure I can show up 150% for every single person who purchases. And I'm also thinking right now in Park City, we go to a rage room. That would be really fun because they're here. So if that's your vibe right now, we'll do that, okay? All right, awesome. Thank you everyone for sticking around for these beautiful 90 minutes. The replay will go out soon. I hope that anything that you loved, you go back and you listen to again. Till next time, I'll see you all.